So they surveyed boomers and millennials on their favorite beers. And let me just say, millennials have better taste.
I like beer and I like whiskey, but I really like the two of them together.
Oh, we're going to have a good time. He's Lou Bryson. I'm Glen Macnow. We're at the Sterling Pig Brewery on State Street in Media for a new episode of What's Brewing.
What's Brewing is brought to you in part by Monco Maker's Passport. Download your free digital pass and sip your way through Montgomery County. By the Conshohocken Brewing Company, featuring 4 locations and available at beer retailers throughout the tri-state area. By Visit Bucks County. Travel the Bucks County Ale Trail. Get your passport at visitbuckscounty.com. And by support from the Pennsylvania Malt and Brewed Beverage Industry Promotion Board and grant funding from the Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board.
Hey, welcome to What's Brewing. I'm Glen Macnow. As you know, Joe Sixpack up and moved to France. We're going to be checking with him later in the show. But this is Lou Bryson. Lou is the foremost authority on whiskey this side of the nose over in Scotland. Love that guy, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
And so we have Lou here today. We're going to do a little whiskey beer thing. Lou has a podcast. What's the name of the podcast?
Seen Through a Glass.
Seen Through a Glass. You should watch that. Whiskey Masterclass. He knows his stuff, and that kind of gets us to what we want to do as an opening topic today, which is mixing beer and whiskey or mixing beer and other hard drinks. Because of your expertise, we got that. Now, back when I was in college, I went into a bar one time and ordered something called a Boilermaker, and I had a mug of cheap beer, and the bartender literally dropped a little glass of whatever cheap whiskey in there. And that was it. We've evolved since then, haven't we, Lou?
Yes. Yeah, you don't have to do that anymore. You don't have to chip your teeth on the glass when you put that back. And that's actually what we call a depth charge from that drop. The Boilermaker, or as they used to call it, the Boilermaker and his helper, is a shot on one side and a beer on the other, which, by the way, is all this talk about beer cocktails. That's my favorite beer cocktail. That's the only way I like spirits and beer.
So we're going to do our swap today, and what we decided is we're going to pair a few things together. So here's what I got you first. This is the Fegley's. I like I'm sure you know Fegley's. This is their Irish Dry. I'm sorry, I did not pour that well. I apologize.
Oh, but it looks good.
It does. Their Irish Dry Boondock Stout. I even love the name. Great movie, Boondock Saints.
Yes!
And I brought you some Redbreast single pot still Irish whiskey, the Lust Stout. I even brought you the good glasses, Lou.
Yeah.
There you go.
Glencairns are very nice.
Okay.
Oh, Slange.
L'chaim. There you go. Okay, so is there a
Sorry.
How should I?
I was just a little weak there.
Yeah, that's fine. How should I do?
I mean, with this stuff, I would sip. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right, you don't want to guzzle this stuff. We're going a little high class here. By the way, I'm a big fan of Irish whiskey, and this is the Lustau is matured in a combination of bourbon seasoned American oak barrels and Oloroso sherry seasoned Spanish oak butts, whatever that means.
Just a bigger barrel.
Okay, what'd you bring me?
I brought you this is a new American classic. I think it's Dickel, George Dickel from Tennessee. It's the other Tennessee whiskey from Jack Daniels. This is a fairly new bottling that they're doing, a bottled in bond, which means it's at least 4 years old. This is more like 7. It's bottled at 100 proof, and it all comes from the same thing. It's kind of like the bourbon equivalent of single malt.
You could keep talking or you could pour.
Let's pour.
Okay.
I only have one glass.
Oh, hello. Here, I got one.
Oh,
Here you
good.
go. There you go. Okay.
So this is at 100 proof.
Okay. Sweet.
Yep.
Ooh, that's really smells good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's
there
okay.
You go. All right, we drinking beer with this?
I'm drinking Shoat here from Sterling Pig.
All right, well, you know
I think
what?
it's a great beer to have with.
I didn't pour myself a Shoat. I'm going to go back to
I'll
this.
work with the stout. That's the beauty of it. This is not an exact science.
Well, that's my question. So
Yeah.
what pairs well together? let me give you some of the ones we got from our viewers, and you can kind of pass muster on what is good. By the way, there is a tradition in Philadelphia, which I guess gets close to the Boilermaker, the citywide special from Barb and Barbara's, which is a can of Pabst Blue Ribbon and a shot of Jim Beam, a mere $4. Okay, some of the ones that came up from our viewers, and Brian Smith says a Guinness and a Jameson, probably the most common.
It's a classic.
Okay. Matthew Misseri said a long time ago it was a shot of Southern Comfort and a Jenny Cream. Now I'll take a Blanton's Bourbon and a Racer 5 IPA.
Well, if you can find them, sure.
Yeah. Thomas Brett said, I love this. He said, hey, every time I drink whiskey, people start fights with me. Wonder what that's about.
Go figure.
Andrew Colligan said, I once did a Type A, Conchi Type A, pint and a shot of Jacqueline's Blackberry.
That's very Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Anthony Mancy said, a Corona and 2 shots of Amaretto. Tastes like Dr. Pepper.
Why not just have a Dr. Pepper?
I don't know. That seems like a really bad idea. And finally, let's go with Joe Bowen said a Sierra Nevada Narwhal Imperial Stout and a shot of Woodford Reserve Bourbon. That seems good.
That probably is good.
All right, your advice on this stuff.
I mean, this is a very personal thing. I think you got to pick what you like. I don't think you can ignore the classics, because a lot of times, I mean, I'll find myself in an Irish bar and I'll try to order a Guinness and I wind up ordering a Guinness and a shot at Powers. I don't even know how it happens.
Well, I will tell you this. I like my Irish whiskey. I like my Fegley's Stout. So I got a theme going there. And you appear to have a theme going as well. Okay. Come, don't let me interrupt your drinking with a TV show.
You.
Keep going. Go for it. Coming up, baby boomers and millennials disagree on many, many things, including beer. We're at the Sterling Pig Brewery. Tremendous place. State Road and Media. Lou Bryson, I'm Glen Macnow for What's Brewing.
So we went to this place called Bucks County for vacation. There was so much to do. We played games, rode on a train, and visited Kids Castle. I went on rides, water slides, and got to hang with Elmo at Sesame Place. We hiked to this huge boulder field called Ringing Rocks. Oh, and I got to meet a pilot. That was so cool. You gotta go.
Welcome back to What's Brewing from the Sterling Pig Brewery in Media. I'm Glen Macnow, joined by Lou Bryson, Whiskey and Beer Authority. What are we drinking here at Sterling Pig?
We have This Little Piggy. This Little Piggy is a single hop, unfiltered IPA series.
Really good.
And this single hop is Citra, which, I mean, Citra is, wow.
The MVP
It is the big hop.
of hops.
Yeah.
There you go.
And again, like, so eager to be drunk. It's like jumping at you.
It's got
I
a
love
great aroma to it. All right, so since we saw you last, couple little bits of news. Weyerbacher, really one of our favorites, and they've been through so much in the last couple of years. They settled their second bankruptcy case, which was great to hear. They are, as we film this show, they are about to reopen their tasting room in Easton. There is a new owner. As I said, they've been through a lot. It's one of the early craft breweries in this area. I'm sure you've been there over the years.
Yep.
Nice to see them making a comeback.
Yeah, I'm really glad to see this coming back. I think they've got a decent chance at this.
Good. We wish them the best. Their Merry Monks has always been one of my favorites. One other opening to discuss, the Carbon Copy Brewing Company, brewing site, a combined winery and brewery. Is that going to work?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Seeing it work in the Finger Lakes.
Good. Okay, good. Opening in the former Dock Street site in West Philly. So go out and give them a try.
I'm just really glad to see somebody going in that site.
Yes.
I love that site.
I get that.
Yeah.
I'm with you. All right. So we tease this. Boomers versus millennials. They did surveys and asked different age groups their favorite beers. I'm going to kind of run some of this by you and see if you'll do it. One thing that they found, by the way, is boomers are only half as likely to order wine with dinner at a restaurant. Economics? Something else?
I don't know.
Okay.
Ingrained prejudice?
Okay, that's a fine answer.
I don't know.
The survey's by YouGov, looking at the most popular beers for boomers versus millennials. And what they ask, by the way, is not what is your favorite beer, but do you have a favorable opinion of this beer? So, for millennials, their top 10, millennials, by the way, are now 23 to 41 years old. Hi. Their top 10. Blue Moon, Corona, Bud Light, Guinness, Miller, Sam Adams, Modelo, Corona Light, Stella Artois, Dos Equis, and at number 11, Red's Apple Ale?
I got nothing here on
Okay,
this one.
I mean, that just seems random.
Right out of there.
For boomers, their top 10, Heineken, which doesn't make the millennials top 10 at all.
Yeah, that was curious too.
So what that says to me is Heineken is, I was going to say your dad's, but we're the dads. For baby boomers, they consider that craft beer back in the day. So for them, that's it. Whereas for the millennials, they want no part of it. Guinness, again, popular with boomers, but
With both.
not as popular with millennials, where it's number 5. Sam Adams, same thing. Miller, Bud, Corona, Coors, Stella Artois, Blue Moon, and Michelob Ultra. So here's the difference. In addition to Heineken being on one list,
Right.
not the other. Boomers higher on Bud and Coors, which don't crack the list for millennials.
Not really surprising.
What does it say?
It says, I mean, these are beers that they grew up with. The millennials, not so much. I mean, Budweiser's been on a long decline.
Okay. Millennials like Blue Moon as their number 1. Looking for flavor in their everyday beer? What is that?
I think that's some of it. The other half you have to look at is the boomer thing. I mean, to a lot of boomers, Blue Moon is still kind of, hey, why are you putting an orange in your beer?
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
And by the way, just to let you know, these are all kind of macro beers, not the great micro beers.
Right.
you're
I
gonna get
think
in
if
your
they would have
neighborhood.
just said and your local craft beer as one,
Right.
I think both of them probably would.
These are all national brands,
Yeah.
of course. Millennials like the Mexican beers. Corona, Modelo,
4.
Corona Light, Dos Equis crack the top 10.
Yeah. And I think, well, I got to tell you, when I saw this list, I thought of the Clash song, "I'm So Bored with the USA." These guys want to be something different. They want to see something different.
Right. Okay. Hey, we are looking this year for you, our viewers, to help us by sending us your home video involving beer. So, whether it's you trying a new beer or drinking beer with a friend, maybe a friend who doesn't drink beer, or drinking beer in a cool place, whatever you want to do, the best one we get each week, we're just kind of putting this out now for the first time, we will give a $25 gift card to the Conshohocken Brewing Company. And this is the ultimate beer workout, which we are running right now. Thought this was really clever.
Yeah.
Loved
It
it.
goes beyond the 12-ounce curl.
Yeah, really good. Coming up, we're going to take a quick trip to France. You're not going.
Oh, sorry.
We're going to check in with Joe Sixpack and see what he's got going on. He's Lou Bryson. I'm Glen Macnow. We're at the Sterling Pig Brewery in Media for What's Brewing. Hey, it's Glen Macnow here with Andrew Colligan, genius and chief bottle washer at the Conshohocken Brewing Company, here to show us what's hot for 2023.
Our lead dog, Type A IPA, citrus and grapefruit, 7% West Coast IPA.
Love this one. It's coming home with me. What's next?
Life Coach, our hazy IPA, our fastest growing brand, juicy and citrusy, perfect for any hazy IPA.
And very crushable. Keep going.
Ring the Bell, our American lager, crisp, clean, easy drinking, tastes especially good down to the gate.
No better way to celebrate a win. And
Backpack beer, our Belgian style wheat, light, refreshing, and approachable. Throw a couple backpacks in your backpack.
I'm gonna go take a hike. Finally,
Mother's Row, our classic ESB, proud to make maybe one of the best English ales in the country. Philly loves an underdog, support your local brewery and watering hole.
it's a beautiful sentiment. All these available at Conshohocken Brewing locations or wherever great beer is sold. Hey, welcome back to What's Brewing. Yes, I may be here with the Delaware River behind me, but 7,000 miles away, Joe Sixpack is enjoying rather bleak surroundings there, Joe. You need to get some wall art.
We haven't gotten a decorator in yet. What can I tell you?
Okay. Joe, of course, has moved to France. We're continuing to do a segment with him on every episode of What's Brewing. And today I got to bring you home a little bit because there is some sad news and kind of a sad trend. One of my favorite places, and a place I know that you enjoyed a lot over the years, the Memphis Tap Room announced in January that it is closing. A lot of things went into it. There were some property tax things. There was some road construction. And I think the bottom line is the scene's just kind of changing. If you would, talk to me just a little bit about Memphis Tap Room, and then we'll get to the larger picture of this.
Yeah, Glenn, that one rocked me because I'd spent many a fine afternoon and evening in Memphis Tap Room. It was there just sort of on the border of Fishtown and Kensington. It's pushed the envelope for neighborhood local watering holes there where they used to be just, your basic Bud Miller Coors joints, and they put in an outstanding tap selection, really good food, and the people who ran it were just great. They're pros. They knew beer and they knew how to run a bar. So that was a bit of a surprise, I guess, to see over here.
All right, so, and there are others that we've talked about and some we haven't. Devil's Den, Gray Lodge, which was a great place up in Frankfurt. Bridgewaters at the 30th Street Station was a terrific place. London Grill, the Draft Horse over at Temple. What's going on? I mean, I know businesses come and go. I know the pandemic hurt everybody, but this is a lot. What's the cause of all this?
Well, I think that, each one of those places you mentioned probably has a different distinct reason for closing. But I think the one thing we can see is that beer bars have changed over time. It's not the place to go to get the great beers anymore because breweries have expanded their tasting rooms, and people, beer geeks at least, seem to be more interested in going to the bar or the breweries themselves rather than going to a bar with, say, 20 or 30 tap handles. Those bars, they just lost the buzz where, we used to go to them to get the latest from many different breweries. It's just not where it's happening anymore.
All right. Now, those are sad to see, but maybe even a little, I don't know about sadder, but certainly more distinct. Britain's oldest bar has closed after a 1,229-year run. The Fighting Cock is out of business in St. Albans. I don't know if you got a thought on that, but it's the oldest, 1,200-year bar.
I don't know that any of my thoughts about the Fighting Cock would make it on the air here, Glenn. So.
Hey, it's cable. We can say whatever we want. It opened in 793. What do you think they drank in 793?
Yeah, that's a good question. Probably some sort of grog and dirt or something.
Nothing as good as this shoat I am drinking right now, this Pilsner shoat I am drinking. All right. You have been to the oldest bar in Ireland, correct?
They say they're the oldest bar in the world. Sean's Pub on the Shannon River says it's the oldest in the world, going back to 900 AD. That's a bit suspect. The building itself may not be, but they have done archaeological digs on this site, and it does appear there was some sort of drinking establishment there as long as 900 AD, which is insane.
All right. I have not been to Sean's Pub. I'm going to try to get back to Ireland in the next year or two. But I have been, and I guess you have also been, to the Brazen Head in Dublin, which opened in 1198, which is and it is an amazing place. And yeah, I don't know that those are the original bricks, and clearly they've hopefully cleaned the pipes once or twice. But you know what? You do get a sense when, North America doesn't have that, right? We don't date back that far. But a bar that is 834 years old, I have to admit, it was really cool.
No, you got to, it's you really feel that kind of a vibe there. The dirt has been there, longer than you. It's just amazing.
In the beer, yeah. Okay, while we have a minute, we kind of paid tribute to the places that we like that have closed. Let's talk about some that have been around in Philadelphia for a very
really, Glenn?
Pardon me?
There's a lot of great old bars in Philly, too. They may not be 900 years old, but we do have a good collection of old bars in Philly.
All right. Well, I'll give the name and you give kind of your thoughts. Cherry Street Tavern.
Yeah, I love the Cherry Street Tavern. It's often sort of under the radar as far as beer world is concerned, but they have two things that you got to love there: the roast beef sandwiches behind the
Yes.
bar, and the original bar trough on the floor. Which, folks, that is not a place to pee. It's a spittoon. It's not a place to pee, despite the urban legend.
By the way, if you go to Cherry Street Tavern, there's always a good chance you will find my friend Rob Cherry from WIP, who is always there. Standard Tap is a place that's been a real leader. Glad to see they're doing okay.
Yeah, they're they are hanging in there as a beer bar. It was the site of the Bull's Head Inn back during the colonial times, and it was known for also having freak show entertainment. There was a famous child with two heads and four limbs who was or four arms rather, who was displayed there. I don't think you get away with that these days. But, yeah, the standard
six or seven beers in, I sometimes feel like that myself. Khyber Pass is what, about 150 years old?
Khyber Pass opened in the 1870s. It's the second oldest bar in the city. As far as I know, that back bar was the original bar from the pavilion at the 1876 Centennial Exposition in Philadelphia at the beer hall there at the exposition.
Yes, and their
And of
popcorn,
course-
the popcorn with the bacon fat is amazing. And just two others that we got to go. McNally's Tavern, home of the Schmitters. I think their 100th birthday's coming up. And Ralph's Italian Restaurant, which is a restaurant, but they serve beer, and it's the oldest Italian restaurant in America.
And don't forget McGillen's, the oldest bar in the city.
Of course, have to. None of them as old as the places you will be going to in France, but I will be enjoying them all. And I'll talk to you next week. We're going to get back to Sterling Pig right after this on What's Brewing. Welcome back to What's Brewing. We're at the Sterling Pig Brewing Company. I'm Glen Macnow. Lou Bryson's our guest host today. I'm enjoying a Big Guns Double IPA, clocks in at 8%. Lou?
I have the Holiday Reserve is a Belgian brewed beauty.
I know you like the Belgians.
Oh, I
There
do
you
like
go.
the Belgians.
We are pleased, thrilled to be joined by Brittany Stanish. Brittany is the marketing and events director here. Here's to you.
Cheers.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.
And Lou and I are both really distracted because the excuse me while I do this.
Oh, yeah.
You brought us an array of food, which is spectacular, including barbecue. And one of the things, and as I said, I've been here before. Did a cast party here, as a matter of fact, for when I was in a production Swarthmore Players Club.
Oh, awesome.
You guys are much more ambitious than most breweries, brew pubs with your food. What is the philosophy there, and what are we looking at here?
I think so. I think we're pretty
Talk it
ambitious
for a
as
while
well.
because I'm going to eat a piece.
Yeah, no worries. So I guess, normally when you go to breweries, you kind of, it's like bring your own food or there's food trucks, but we decided to do it a little differently and have our own kitchen here. So we have our margarita pizza. So if you look behind me, we have a pizza oven that was actually imported. Yeah.
I gotta say, when I first walked in, I thought it was a still.
It's pretty cool, right?
Gorgeous.
Yeah. It's a nice little statement piece. Yeah. And then we have a strip steak with risotto and asparagus. This is actually a part of our specials menu. We try to do specials like bi-weekly just to like try out new things, change it up a little bit. We have our honey sriracha chicken sandwich, which is like a little bit sweet, spicy.
Beautiful.
It's awesome. And then like the piece
here's
de
the
resistance,
centerpiece, right.
our barbecue, which we take a lot of pride in. Smoked daily, fresh every day.
It's great.
Great little
and
setup.
listen, we're here early in the day, but as Lou said, the aroma coming in, and you're a barbecue guy, I know that.
I'm a barbecue guy. I eat it. I make it. And this is, I mean, you mentioned that this was more adventuresome than brew pubs. This is more adventuresome than a lot of barbecue places I know.
It really is, and it really is worth the trip. You got to, some of this and some of this. That's a fine night.
Yeah.
You've got the place here.
Yes.
You got the place in Westchester.
Yes.
Talk a little bit, because I know you want to discuss kind of we all kind of came through the pandemic together.
Yeah.
How did that change you guys?
Just talking beer wise, I think, and maybe the brewing industry as a whole, I think it kind of propelled the industry forward a little bit more quickly than maybe it would have otherwise. At least speaking for us, you know, we had to close down all of our storefronts and everything.
Yeah.
So it kind of pushed us into canning a lot more, trying to get a little bit more creative with what we want to can.
Okay, so available here, but available distribution footprint?
Yes, absolutely. So we are in, you know, Delco, obviously, Philadelphia County, Montgomery County, Chester County. We're slowly trying to like move our footprint out a little bit further, but as you know, it takes time. We're a small operation.
I think Center County would be a wonderful addition. Just speaking
You
selfishly.
know what? I'm going to bring that up. I'm going to bring that up in the next meeting.
You know, the whole Penn State thing,
All right. They do drink beer up there?
they do drink a lot of beer up there.
So I've heard.
And you could even send the barbecue. But you also are open for events.
Yes.
Tell me a
Yes,
little
we
bit
are.
about that.
So we do private events here, you know, up in our loft space, even outside. We try to be like really dynamic and open with what people want to do. But we do also host our own events. Specifically, we do a Hacktoberfest weekend every year where we bring a bunch of like German beers out, stuff like that, keep it fun. We did a Stein holding competition last year, which was a blast and really comical. And then we also have our anniversary party every year, which we, you know, celebrate when we opened. This past year was actually our 7th, which is a huge accomplishment, especially when you have a brewery.
Yes. And this place here on State Street, hours?
So we have, we're open from 4 to 8 p.m., sometimes 9, Monday and Tuesday, and then we open for lunch at 12 p.m. Wednesday through Sunday.
Okay, great. One of the theings that I noticed coming in is, boy, that's a pretty cool can. I like
Thank
this.
you.
This is the Butcher's Brew, and you designed these.
I do. Not our early cans, but pretty much everything in the past 4-ish years I've designed, and honestly, I fell into it because of the pandemic. Yeah.
Wow,
it was just kind
there's
of-
a story I haven't heard.
Well, it was really, you know, I studied some like graphic design in college, and you know, I'm a creative, artsy person, but we, you know, needed to get labels on beer, and it was like, hey, Britt, can you get it, you know? And then I was like, wait, I actually really like doing this, and you know, I am our marketing manager, and it gave me an opportunity to try to see what people are drawn to. And Lou, you had mentioned before the show, you know, you walk into a beer distributor or a grocery store, and it's kind of like you're looking at a wall of art, which I think is incredible. I mean, some of the art that you see on can these days they're masterpieces, and it's so impressive.
Yep.
You almost feel bad like throwing it out at the end when you're done it. But I think it is a totally new and different, like just way for breweries to show who they are.
Absolutely. To showcase what they've got and what
Exactly.
they are and so on. Well, listen, we've had a great time here. Lou, I suggest we hang around till we eat all this food.
Please do.
I thank you for joining us today, Lou Bryson.
Cheers, Glenn.
Brittany, a pleasure.
Cheers.
Thank you for hosting us. And
Thanks
we'll
for
be
having
back
me.
next week on an all-new episode of What's Brewing.
What's Brewing is brought to you in part by Monco Maker's Passport. Download your free digital pass and sip your way through Montgomery County. By the Conshohocken Brewing Company, featuring 4 locations and available at beer retailers throughout the tri-state area. By Visit Bucks County. Travel the Bucks County Ale Trail. Get your passport at visitbuckscounty.com. And by support from the Pennsylvania Malt and Brewed Beverage Industry Promotion Board and grant funding from the Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board.